And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Hello, hello. Today with us we have Maria Jasna Basic. You like to be called Jasna, right?
Yes. Thank you, Edita and Darko, for inviting me. Good morning, everybody. So, I will present myself. So,
Yeah,
once
please do
again,
because we're not we're not going to do it.
yes, okay. So, thank you, Edita and Darko, for your interest and curiosity about clinical trials. As you said, my name is Maria Jasna, but please call me Jasna. Only professors called me Maria Jasna. So, I'm coming from Croatia. I'm medical biochemist and pharmacist. I enjoy, DNA. I was very curious about forensics, but then I come back to the pharmacy and graduated both. I was working at a pharmacy for 8 years. I was head of the pharmacy in Croatia. And then clinical trials comes to my door and I stayed there for 15 years. I was going around hospitals in Croatia who were conducting clinical trials. I was reviewing data there, and I'm very passionate about how to increase the quality of data, how to increase the performance of sites. We call sites hospitals, clinics where the trials are conducted. And also, I had opportunity during the COVID to be a global lead of central monitoring. This is guys who are behind the screen, who are reviewing data and performances behind the screen. And then I realized, oh, the world has changed. The AI is coming, really, it's here. And I was thinking about the future of clinical trials of the pharma industry. And then I step out from the industry, registered my company, and still I'm offering monitoring service. These are guys who are going on site, so to the hospital in the country, not around. So I'm a CRA, clinical research associate in the country, but also I'm very passionate for to see, just like your podcast is seen and heard. I would like that this industry is more seen and heard in our community, because I have realized that even my colleagues, pharmacists, biochemists, and new generation of doctors still don't know about it. So I'm very passionate about to increase awareness in a most professional way about clinical trials, so that it is um, to become also patients to become more familiar, and healthcare providers at least to know where to find any clinical trial, why, and what is there for them. And that's why I have education about it. And also, I'm living in Croatia. We didn't have so many private clinics 7, 10 years ago. Now we have new generations, and I see that so many of them still don't know even that they can conduct clinical trials. So I'm also enthusiastic about preparing these small hospitals clinic to become a clinical trial sites. Why? Because I want to live and stay in Croatia. And if I want to have a job here, I have to create it. So I can prepare sites, and I can show them to sponsors, and then I can get a job here. And also I can show other students and healthcare providers about possibilities how to enter to this industry, because guys, there is no school about roles in this industry. So that's in short about me. Here I am.
Oh, great introduction and a great plan. Now, you say that even around your industry, people do not fully understand it, what it is. So, what are actually clinical trials, and how do they look like?
Thank you, Darko, for this. So basically, when we talk about the science or researches, just to be clear, I'm talking about clinical trials about the drugs and the investigation on humans. So we have three main parts. First of all, are, let's say, laboratories, research and development part. These guys are closed in laboratory. Then we come clinical trials when this what was we have, for instance, a new molecule, then it has to be investigated and confirmed the safety and efficacy. And that's the second part, clinical research, clinical trials. And why this one and two? Well, the aim is that this product comes to the market. This is the third part. So, for instance, when I was a pharmacist, your doctor prescribe a drug. Then you come to the pharmacy and lady gave you the drug, right? The drug that is already on the market. And I was wondering, okay, but how it comes to the shelf, in the pharmacy? And that's the story about clinical trials. And it really lasts about 10 years because of its phases and um, its procedure about the approvals. So this is just in short. The research department, laboratories, clinical trials, hospitals, and the market, all of us. I hope I make it a little bit clear. Mhm,
Darko is muted, but he's
mhm.
saying something very interesting.
You're
Oh,
muted.
I'm muted. Sorry about
Okay.
that. So, Virginie said a very interesting topic. So, yeah, it's a really interesting topic. And what I can hear from the start is your forensic background coming through there and enthusiastically talking about investigating all this.
Yes. Yes. When we talk about the science, it's always some kind of research and curiosity. And the clinical trials are part of this. Of course, it's also business as normal. It's industry, but it is really what we say. It's the fight with diseases, with the suffer, with the patient care. We want to improve it because when you see a new symptom, we are just more and more discovering more new symptoms. But guys, let's fight against them. That's the background. That's why we are here. Yeah.
Let's
Mhm.
help people. I love
Def-
that.
Definitely, because this is the main purpose, to investigate, to check the um, efficacy, and of course the safety, and then to see whether it works or not. That's why, just to be clear, there are many clinical trials, not only on molecules, not only on drugs. Clinical trials are conducted also on devices. You know, when you use some ultrasound, it also has to be clinically approved. So there are clinical trials not only on drugs, there are also clinical trials on treatments. And also, what is interesting, there are clinical trials on potentially uh, new therapy for the existing drugs, because the science was depending of the improvement of technical world, you know. So now with the AI, so many things are clear, and research and development department see that potentially a molecule that was investigated 5 years ago, it can also be excuse me, it can also be investigated now for something else. Mhm. We depend of the also on the increase of the technology. Yeah. Mhm.
It'll be very interesting to see what AI can contribute there. But what I was curious about is now, as an independent business,
Mhm.
you have a bit of a step back, I'd say, for this whole process. And I know that you have some insights about all of the elements of the process. So, what would you tell, for example, a patient about clinical trials that you think people don't really know?
Mhm. Edita, this is a great question. So yes, when we are all patients, or will be, or our family everybody is ill sometimes, and even myself, I was never thinking about clinical trials, and now um, in Europe, we are talking about Europe, there is European Medicinal Agency, the main regulatory body, and this year, in March this year, they released a very, very friendly clinical trial map where you can simply enter the disease, for instance, diabetes, and you can choose the country and look for whether there is any clinical trial potentially interesting for you and any one of your family friends, and you can find it, and then you can find also contact about it. So what I would say, not only don't use Google Doctor, ask your doctor and go to clinical trial map, and you can see about your problem, let's say your disease, what is there. And it is very, very interesting, and this is transparent, just like you put in the title. Now we have transparency in clinical trials, and that is really, really, we were waiting for this. Yeah, that's great. So I would say to the patients, even if their doctor maybe don't know, they can now find for themselves this clinical trial and then come to the doctor, general practitioner, and ask, I have seen this, do you maybe know, can you tell me more? And also there are patient advocacy groups, and there are clinical trial ambassadors in Europe. Officially, they are more dedicated for particular diseases, but they are here. At the end, it all depends now on internet, and that even the patient should look for it, or somebody from the family. But it is here, and um last week there was a very nice webinar where 11 countries of Europe were presenting their initiatives about how to increase awareness about clinical trials in their countries. So some of them, for instance, have a free telephone number that each patient can call in the country and ask. This is, it's becoming, just like Darko mentioned, AI is doing also good platforms to gather experts knowledge and to gather information. Yeah. So yeah,
But
I would. Mhm.
you said about it's a publicly available search engine for clinical trials. Sorry about that. Do
Yes.
actually patients have access to these drugs, or is it only what is coming next? So the
Mhm.
drugs in clinical trials are not approved yet completely.
Correct. That's what I mentioned from the beginning. Clinical trials are part of research, let's say in the middle, before going to the market, if it will come to the market. So it's investigation, it's research. It can start, it can drop, it can be stopped. Not all clinical trials get to the approval. That's the research. It's not the product. And now how patients can get access to clinical trials. This is the most important. We need doctors, we need hospitals who are ready, who are willing to conduct clinical trials, because without them, there are no access for our patients. So patients can look for the clinical trial. Now it's transparent. There is a clinical trial map on European Medicinal Agency web page. But what then? Yes, patient can ask, whether my condition can be eligible for this trial. But usually it doesn't come from the patient, it comes from the doctor. So the doctor usually tell to his or her patient, as you know, we have in our clinic or in our hospital, we are conducting trial, and your condition um, are telling us that potentially you could be eligible. So this is, again, there are many tests to be confirmed whether a subject, a patient, a participant is eligible. So that's why I'm telling you this is a 10 years, but it is here. It is here.
Hmm.
And um, it is, well, we all, um, we would like this to be option of care, not only investigation. That, for instance, if you have some disease that okay, these are these drugs on the market, and how about clinical trials? If you are interested as a patient, do I have any potential in my country or in other countries? When I talk about other countries, I also mean here about a rare disease. Many people are struggling with these diseases, and there are not so many clinical trials. And in Europe, there are organizations about rare diseases where they help families, that even a patient from, I don't know, from Croatia can come to Austria for clinical trials, and we don't know it. So this is good to be more transparent, more friendly to patients, so that we become aware about it and then decide whether it is applicable or not. Mhm.
Yeah, but it's still important to mention that you just cannot volunteer to be a guinea pig and say, okay, there is a new drug, I want to try it. As much as when a person is sick, it's desperate
Mhm.
to get healthy. So yeah, they do. So it needs to come from the doctor, and doctor needs to approve you are eligible for this.
Well, there are many phases. Phase one is for volunteers. Phase two and three, I'm more dedicated for those phases two and three. So I'm not familiar with phase one. We don't have it in our country so much, but yes, it is the practice that it comes from the doctor who is curious, who knows his patient, and who is thinking about it. Because when I'm sick, I also don't think about it. Yeah, that's the reality. But it can be changed, with more information, with professional information, patient advocacy, clinical trial ambassadors. We should all be aware, and I'm sure it can help somebody.
Absolutely. More autonomy and more choice is always a positive.
Yes, and there is also one thing in Europe that happened in last 10 years. There were a significant decrease of clinical trial numbers in Europe generally, um, because doctors are overwhelmed. In our country, many young people are going outside the country. We lack of study nurses, we lack of doctors here. So yeah, the changes happened, but clinical trials are here, and patients are also pushing. But guys, I heard, for instance, in UK there is this drug, why it's not here? So it's combination, it's cooperation. We should all work together. Yeah.
We have Rena in the comments wishing us a good morning. Thank you, Rena, for listening. This is a
Mhm.
topic that's close to her heart. Now, you've mentioned the doctor's role a couple of times, and I
Mhm.
have a feeling that you have something to say to the doctors as well. Have you noticed a lack of curiosity or anything else that you would like to address?
In my 15 years going around the hospitals in Croatia, and I was working in UK and in Serbia, I can sign they are excellent experts. They are wonderful. I love them. Without them, we need them. But this, I have seen, administrative burden is really, something that is not good to be presented to doctors. And on the other hand, we have a new generation who is already raised with the, mobile phones, with the AI, so they are curious. But as I said, there is no school about clinical trials, and you can even specialize. You can graduate medicine, you can complete your specialization, and it doesn't mean that you know about clinical trials. So this is the gap, let's say, in the industry, that really, because it's a global industry, and somehow you jump in just like me. USA find me. I speak several languages. I have the university, and I was head of the pharmacy, and I didn't know about clinical trials so much. I know the phases that I learned at the university, but I didn't know how this industry works and what is there for me. And now I created something that I was curious 15 years ago when I started. I didn't have anybody to ask about it. And then I created this basic first education about how this industry works. Who is sponsor? Who owns the molecule? Who is conducting clinical trials? Where? Why are doctors so important? Just to understand the basic knowledge, and then things will go smoothly. So what I want to say is that uh, physicians, medical doctors, they are asked to become investigators in clinical trials, but they learn by conducting clinical trials because there are no time usually. And once you jump into the study, to the project, you don't have time, etc. And yeah, my um, my intention here is really to say that without strong ground, uh, we can miss something. And with the strong basics, we can prevent many mistakes later on. And when you have a global trial with 100 sites all around the world, why not to prevent, mistakes? And that's why I come with this basic first, and I'm telling this at each hospital where I'm working. Of course, my colleagues are doing the same, but there is no, officially a school for this. Yeah. You simply expect experts to jump into the expert field just like this. And it works. Yeah. But mistakes come. Mm. I hope
It's
I,
great
I
that you're there to fill this gap. I mean, you can see that you recognize the need there.
mm,
So,
yes.
what reactions do you normally get when you do these trainings in hospitals? What kind
Well,
of questions arise?
as I told you, Adita, there is no time because once we have a trial, we talk about the trial itself. And then in the middle, you swim around the trial tasks, and you stress the most important thing, how to prevent some common mistakes. And you hear about it, but when it comes to the reality, it still happens. That's the life we are people, you know. But definitely, I would like that new physicians, medical doctors know about clinical trials even at the university. I think that would be a good thing, because there are also options of their careers for healthcare providers. So we are talking about the industry, which doesn't have the school at the university, let's say this way, and you don't know that maybe you have a career there, just like me. I'm a pharmacist, and now I'm a clinical research associate. What is this role? What am I doing? Nobody knows. Only if you ask me for 15 years, everybody asks me, Yasna, but what are you doing exactly? And only colleagues in my industry, we understand each other. Yeah, because yeah, I have to explain you. You have a research development, you have sponsors, you have clinical trials, you have hospitals. I'm here in the middle. Okay, you know.
Now you can send them this podcast, so you don't have to explain yourself over and
Yeah,
over again.
every effort matters, in patient care at the end, because we really are fighting with diseases. And yes, we always fight also with the timelines, just like in any other industry. But it's a very nice, interesting industry, and I would suggest many healthcare providers to think about potential of career there. And because yeah, if you are open, if you know English, yes, the English is our language. And what is good is that, for instance, you have documents that applies to all countries, That's great, just like I don't know, if you come to any country in Europe, you go to the hospital reviewing documents, you will find the same logs, the same templates.
Yeah, and we touch our topic, our main topic of a podcast, being
Mhm.
seen and heard, and the importance of your work being seen and heard to be explained to the doctors, but also to everyone else in the industry. Hi, Nenad. Hi, Mary. We have
Mhm.
our viewers.
Hi, Virginia. Thank you. Mhm. Yes, Darko, that's right. I'm so happy to see about this free internet, about LinkedIn, and your podcast and possibilities to talk about it, because yeah, I have some ages we didn't have it before, and I think that we should use it to talk about, because experts really need and like to meet experts, but doesn't have to be that you have to go to the conference. You can have a podcast, you can have a webinar, and that's your intention to be seen and heard is much appreciated, because yes, healthcare providers, they are in their world. We are working in hospitals, and somehow we talk only about colleagues, and who I don't have time for this podcast, for instance, now, to explain how to explain complex things in easier world. But it is possible. So much appreciate, guys, what you are doing. Yeah, and thank you for your interest about this, because yes, this can be heard not only for patients but also for doctors, let's say physicians, medical clinic owners who don't know that maybe they can update their service and start conducting clinical trials. And then how about roles there? We don't, in this industry, we don't only need medical doctors, nurses, and pharmacists. There are so many coordinators, associates, specialists who are, for instance, doing a remote job and filing documents in folders, let's say this way. And you don't know potentially about it anything. So because you don't think about this industry. Yeah, that's good to know.
Like when you like what you say, when you do come to the hospital, to the site, like you call it, there is
Yeah.
not enough time to explain all of it, and
Yes.
there is a need to start explaining before you even come. How, from your experience, has this been better in this time of podcasts and websites and social media, so that people start understanding what you do even before you come to them?
Darko, this is a good question. There are so many initiatives, especially from colleagues from USA. In Europe, somehow we are silent. I don't know. I'm telling about Europe as a silent
You are not
lady.
silent.
Yeah, I'm not. I come out. Yeah, but I would like to encourage more colleagues to start talking about it. Um, I believe that this is exactly what you are talking. These generations, they are living with mobiles. They are living they are walking and listening. So that this is the right way how to approach to them, because um, boring trainings, standard of operations are too boring, sometimes, and you need a new way of cooperation, more visuality, more reels. Yes, but in once when you have a trial, yeah, it goes. You are swimming around. Yeah, that's our reality.
And let's say a little private clinic owner is watching this and they go, Yasna is interesting. Maybe we could turn our facility into a research site. How do you come in there and how can you help?
Thank you, Edita, for this. This is my dream, yes, to have few sites in Croatia and get, trials, and I can even perform monitoring. So if you have a clinic, private medical clinic, first of all, according to our regulations, you have to be registered as a company for the research too. This is the one thing. Then, yes, of course, you can first see what you have. Do you have a specialist in, I don't know, dermatology, cardiology, CNS? If you have a nurse, and who is the team, who creates the team, the smallest team in at one site? It is the principal investigator. Then there is a sub investigator. Let's say you have to have 2 doctors. Then there is a study nurse and study coordinator. If study nurse sometimes is also study coordinator, but this is not the best choice. And you can update your service very easily, because what you need to be trained on GCP. This is good clinical practice. This is our standard for the whole industry. And then you have to see, how about my equipment? So you have to have calibration certificates for the equipment use that you are using. Then, of course, you have to be prepared to learn about clinical trials, at least basic knowledge to get, and to think about, okay, but how will I now come to the sponsor? How will I get the clinical trial? Who will present me? So you have to get in touch with the CROs who are conducting clinical trials on behalf of the sponsor, or sponsor is conducting. Usually it's CROs. Now it's called service providers, but I will stop here about it. So definitely you have to jump into the industry and things will go smoothly. You can present yourself, you know. Yeah, I
Okay,
would for
but
sure.
most of it is just negatives, prerequisites. What is the positive for this owner of the private clinic when
What
they do get to some clinical
yes.
trial?
Why would they even think to
Yeah,
why to
so
update this
so many
service?
things
Yeah.
to prepare.
Yes. So, as I tell you, this is curiosity, this is research, this is medicine. We are all here to help our patients now and to make healthier future. So, you are with being prepared or becoming clinical trial sites. Without you, your patients do not have access to trials. So, you are allowing patients this access, and sponsor, they will reimburse your expenses. So you will be free of charge. Let's say you don't have to think about your expenses. It will be reimbursed. So this is the reason why you should, let's say, update your service and then see, maybe I can plan it this year or next year, because this is a long term. This is not, just a product. There are so many things. And yes, this is very, if I have a clinic, I would for sure conduct clinical trials, because it's a great industry and it's such a help. And there are so many benefits for the subjects. And when you jump in, you learn so much, because you are in touch with the newest technology in this disease. You learn in one meeting more than in one conference, because this is research. You are talking about experts and they are sharing their knowledge. This is great. I mean, this is very interesting. And just to repeat, you are covered for your reimbursement. Yeah, because yeah, somebody is coming to your home, you have the electricity, etc. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
so
also the revenue. Yeah.
yeah, there is some money involved, actually. But what you said, it's really important. And if you see someone that is suffering and there is a possible drug for it or treatment, that you can help them also this way, just to try to
Definitely.
help them.
That's why we are all here. That's exactly. Yeah, that's the point.
Okay, we have a long comment and it's mine, I know. Rena said, I can definitely say how valuable your work is, Maria. I wish
Thank
I'd
you.
known more about this area and the opportunities available. The only time I came across our involvement in the clinical trials was during my pre registration placement in hospital, and that was just to provide the medication from the dispensary.
Uh, well, Rina, that's exactly what I was telling. No matter if you are a pharmacist or if you are a nurse or if you are a physician, yes, if you are not working with a principal investigator who is conducting clinical trials, you don't know about it. Yeah. But uh, my colleagues also from USA, they also told me that only during the COVID, we all heard about more about clinical trials, and sometimes even 50% or even more healthcare providers still don't know about it. That's why we are here. That's why I step in to talk about it, because I have seen some common mistakes that we can prevent together. But I can also see so many benefits for my community, for patients in Croatia, and in Europe. And just like this webinar, I can clinics can be prepared online. So that's really great.
Everything is virtual today.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure Rena and you
Mhm.
will have a few words after this. She's most certainly interested in this topic.
No problem. Whoever, I'm open for any cooperation. You can find me on my LinkedIn profile. I registered the company. It's called Monocytes. Monocytes are cells in our body who are, let's say, wake up in the morning and they clean what they have to do in 8 hours, and then okay, it's enough. So they are cleaning, and they are improving our health. Just exactly what I'm doing as a CRA, clinical research associate, and cleaning data, reviewing data, and making trials more effective.
Yeah, and this is your website we put there.
Yes, yes. Monocyte dot
Monocyte.eu.
correct, Darko. Thank you. Mhm.
I love this idea that we are marrying this humanistic, very noble wish to help people, but also this maybe a bit more cynical business part. So I don't think there's a reason for people not to be involved, not to take some time to upgrade their services or to, as patients, look around for more options if they don't feel that they have enough.
Yes, Edita, when clinical trial starts in a hospital, they say, "Oh God, it's so many documents." Still, there are some documents, although more and more we are doing things online. Oh, it's too complex. No, it's not. You just didn't know it. Nobody told you what the doctors, what the sites need. They need precise uh, instruction. Guys, you will need to avoid 1 hour for this training, then you will need half an hour for this, and then they can plan it. So we have a very, very strict timelines, but sometimes they are not presented in the best way. It is much more efficient if you tell doctor you will need to avoid half an hour for this training, or if you tell them there is the link, you will have to log in, and then please send me a certificate when you complete it. Of course, the only question he will ask, how long do I need to avoid of my time for this? you know these are these practical things uh, that when you are experienced like me, I'm trying to present this at the first. you know when you have a patient, please pay attention, you will have to avoid this and this, what is additional from their regular work. So just to know how long to play. As I told you, we are fighting with diseases but also with time. It's always some timelines, tight timelines, but it's all feasible and it's interesting. And just to mention a bit about roles, yes, it's also just like any other uh, employment, any other business. It is health. If you are a doctor, if you're a study nurse, you can also become a, um, clinical trial coordinator, clinical research coordinator, study nurse. nurses who are only, for instance, dedicated for clinical trials. You can be investigators. These are doctors who are conducting clinical trials. So yes, these are options. You can update your offer, your service with this when you want, if you want.
Um, I must say, you are making it sound very, very interesting. Your passion shines through because I can see these people now smiling and thinking, okay, I made this happen, like this drug and this new device that's helping people. I was part of making it happen.
Yes, yes. So I always tell from the beginning, this is still research. So it's not a project still on the market. We would like this to come to the market, but we are investigating this. And it is a business, it is a global industry, and are so many roles that you cannot imagine. So it's really happening. We are small countries, but we are great in English. You know this, Edita. Just for instance, I believe that my English is also okay. So we can jump into this industry, but our children, students still don't know about this potential option for new career there. Yeah, that's why I start to talk about it at once again in a most professional way, because it is health. We are here, but we have to follow all regulations. So it's very, very strict, and that's how it has to be.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of small countries that have access through English to this whole market and millions of people involved. But you already mentioned that you worked in different countries and with people from different countries. Are there any differences that you notice when you compare to the Croatian market?
Hmm. Yeah, Adita, this was very interesting experience. Um, yeah, I was working as a SWAT CRA, just like special weapon. And when you need more than CRA, when you're somebody who has a good eye, I have, let's say, good eye because of this my biochemistry background. And I was working in UK, in Sheffield and Bristol, and see hospitals there. And then I was working in Belgrade, in Serbia, and then I was a global lead of central monitoring, so I have input in so many hospitals around the world. Believe me, we are all the same. We are all the same. People are the same, and doctors are fighting. They are so dedicated to the care of their patient, and we come from the industry, and we are supporting them and helping them to conduct the clinical trials. But what I have noticed is that uh, common mistakes are still there. That's why I come in with this basic first, because I want to really decrease these mistakes. And I cannot say they are more organized. I'm talking about UK. What is different from their um, strategy than, for instance, let's say in most countries here in the region, is that they have dedicated coordinators. So really there is a person, a coordinator. It's not study coordinator. Study coordinators is for this particular study, for one project. But coordinator at a site can coordinate, for instance, let's say 5 trials, you know. So it's so different when you see a coordinator who is preparing everything, and he's not, or she is not also a study nurse. And in our reality, we have mostly nurses who are coordinators, or investigators who are also coordinators, and this is a little bit of burden, and I believe that this will change. This would be a good step for our hospitals to involve more coordinators, because sometimes sponsor will even reimburse external coordinator to support the hospital, the site, to conduct clinical trials. But what I say, sometimes our hospitals even don't know, or sites don't know that they can ask for it, So this is, yeah, this is the world, and that's why we are talking about it. So the difference between, let's say, the premium sites I have seen is definitely PI, principal investigator, who is oversighting all, have regular meeting just like anybody else, but also has a coordinator who is only a coordinator.
You don't have people stretched to cover several roles. That's a matter of resources and knowing how to access them in a way. Okay. It's good to hear about extra jobs that we have rather than this idea that AI is going to eat so many roles for a change, to be honest.
Well, AI is here. As I told you, clinical trials are involved with the most modern technology. So I have seen this even before it comes out. So, but my impression, it will be just a tool for experts, for everybody, and we just have to learn how to use it. And again, there should be some regulations. So AI is here, and I cannot say which roles will be maybe adapted. We will maybe need less paper documents. Everything more and more will be online data gathering, data management, But this is okay. I believe if we will save time for doctors, that's great. They will have more time to be with patients. That's just like any other technology. If it's useful for disease to find something, that's great. That's why we are here. That's why science is here. Yeah. That's what I see.
Yeah, and you mostly talk about doctors and nurses and CRAs and hospitals, but what about pharmacists? How do actually drugs come into pharmacy?
Darko, thank you for this, because this was my question as a head of the pharmacy. Yes, once. So we are running clinical trials investigating whether this compound, this molecule, has benefits and is safety for the populations. And then uh, it passed phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, 10 years. And then when it comes to the approvals, once it is approved, it comes to the market. And now, what is here for the pharmacists? Of course, as you know, whether this investigational product, when comes to the hospital, it has to be stored, properly stored. We used to say remedia claudenda, remedia separanda. We always say keep it closed, lock the door with limited accesses, just like in a pharmacy if you do not have the pharmacy. If you have the pharmacy, it is stored in the pharmacy. And pharmacists are also part of the site's clinical research team. So this is for, let's say, for hospitals and those who have the pharmacy. If you have sites, smaller sites, it's not a problem if you don't have the pharmacy in your home, but you have to act with its storage just like you are the pharmacist. I would say this way. And the roles for career are also here for the pharmacists, because they understand the pharmacology, the background of each compound that is, under investigation, and there are so many interesting roles for pharmacists there. Yeah, I would encourage colleagues to think about it.
Oh, another long comment. Great. Oh, hello, Samuel. And Samuel said, we humans have become accustomed to things running automatically for us in the background. But we often lose sight of the fact that the real people are involved in our healthcare system, for example. Thank you, Maria Jasna.
Okay, thank you, Samuel. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know what is on the market, and you don't have to think about it. The doctor is here, the pharmacist is here to prescribe you a drug. Let's say if we talk about drug, we don't talk about now or with the devices, but this is a huge industry in the background, huge industry, and really they are experts. They are thinking about how to fight against this disease. We are hearing about new suffering. So many patients. For instance, we live longer, but there are so many more dementia now. Then obesity, you see, whatever you can say, these chronic diseases are still here, like hypertension, diabetes, and I'm still wondering how on earth it's here for 15 years, what we are doing, how to fight them, or for cancer. My uncle was one of the foundation for the um, uh, foundation against the cancer in Croatia, and we have thanks to the technology now so great compounds who are fighting this, let's say, personalized medicine, and it's working, but it depends on the technology too. So yeah, this is what is happening behind the screen. Maybe you are not aware about it, but yes, I'm asking myself, why is diabetes still here, for instance? If we know how it works, why we cannot fight for this and make it okay? We have drugs, we have it. Yeah. So yeah, this is curiosity. Yeah.
And this leads to a real important question, I would say. What would you recommend to people who are in your industry, but also perhaps outside in other industries that work that have very important things to say, but are always in the background, and people do not even see that they exist and the work they do? How would they be more visible and come forward for others to see what they do and get this important information?
Darko, thank you for this. This is exactly great. I would once again, I must appreciate your curiosity and thank you for being interested in clinical trials, because I would encourage colleagues to really step in and use LinkedIn profiles. This is still social media for business, for how experts can meet experts very easily. And this is a great tool. Again, maybe nobody teaches how to use it, but uh, please, colleagues, just like me now telling about clinical trials, you also have something to say, and I would encourage this. Yeah, it all depends on maybe of the personality too, Darko. Yeah, that's why we are all here. That's why you are here, to be seen, to be heard, and maybe some bells will ring to somebody. What is there for me? I will contact this guy. I will get in touch with this. Yes, that's great. I would suggest LinkedIn or conference, whatever, just step in. Just step in out of the box. Yes.
Just
Just
like you are
start doing
doing.
it.
Start. Don't think it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, yeah. Believe me, no. But what if you know what you are doing? Yes, you always can present. And when I started, I had a problem. Oh my God, how will I talk on a webinar or whatever? And then one teacher told me, if you will not tell this, Yasna, imagine how many people will not hear this. You should think about them. And that was one of good advice I heard. Because when I was a student, when I started, I didn't know. I would like to have some Yasna or some basic knowledge. Now I created this, and that's good.
Perfect. Thank you, Yasna, for saying
You're
yes
welcome.
and sharing this so that
Mhm.
our listeners here, like Vishnya, who joined us as well, Vishnya, good morning,
Bye, guys.
have the
Mhm.
opportunity to hear about it, think about it, and interact with this information. Rena has another comment. She says, exactly, it's huge. When I worked as a community pharmacist, we were also doing walk in blood pressure checks, smoking cessation services, I focusing on lifestyle, not just medication.
Yes, that's exactly. Medication is on the market, but to become on the market, we have to think about a lot of things. That's why it lasts for 10 years. So we are investigating this impact on adverse events, whether it's a cure, whether it's effective for the humans. So somebody is really thinking and deciding about it. It's not just like this. Oh, I have this, come to the market. Oh, this is great. No, this is this is a professional healthcare system, and really you have to prove, you have to document what you think that it can work. So what is not documented, it didn't happen. You have to have the proof, and then we just upgrade it to, let's say, uh, more um, to more treatments. If I hope I could explain this. So yeah, this is the industry behind the screen, lasting for 10 years, let's say. There are many opportunities for healthcare providers, and we are all here for the patients. But without sites, our patients do not have access to potentially beneficial treatments. This is potentially beneficial for now, patient now, but definitely we are creating better future, healthier future with this. That's why we are here. And we need sites and principal investigators, medical doctors, nurses, pharmacists willing and interested in conducting clinical trials. That's the message I would like to hear the audience. Yeah, and once again, I would like to stress importance that European Medicinal Agency released a friendly clinical trial map where everybody can look for is there any clinical trial around me. Mhm.
Yes, and they can contact you directly also on Monocytes AU. I think Arena touched it in comment a few minutes ago that it's a great analogy what you told about monocytes and what you do actually. So
Thank you. Yes,
it's a
this is
great
the
name.
Yes, this is the parallel. When I was thinking, I combined my biochemistry, monocytes. Why there? Okay, they are inside the body. They are doing what they can, but we need to help them. Don't forget, the human body is so great. We have so many cells, natural killers who are cleaning everything. I'm still so impressed about it. So I would just say, don't be afraid of diseases. uh, just get to know. You have to decide whom to believe. You have experts, doctors, and we are all here to help people with their diseases and with the sufferer, and to have this option for the care, clinical trials. Yeah. I hope
Um,
it was a little bit. I hope that this clinical trial world, clinical research, become more familiar in easier way.
yes.
Absolutely. You've helped a bit for sure today.
And we touched it, I think, for a couple of times during this conversation. And I know Edita is just a bit too shy to mention it, but the universal language in your industry with clinical trials is English. So it's actually, you need to communicate in English because you really work internationally, not just in one country is separate what you're doing.
Yes, Darko, that's right. For instance, when we gather, when we have meetings, these are global meetings, you hear so many colleagues from other countries. Yes, but we do speak in English because, as I told you, we have, we have our language and our templates, our logs, and only it's us inside the industry who understand this, and that's the mandatory. Yep. Mm.
It's the access points. Maybe have you noticed that some patients who otherwise would get care, would English help them access more options?
Patients do not have to worry anything about it. That's not their problem because all patient-facing materials should be in their local language. So, for instance, if we have patients in Croatia, they will have patient-facing materials in Croatian. That's not their problem. But if he would like to, or she patient would like to investigate more about clinical trials, yes, he can contact. But again, that's why I mentioned you have patient advocacy or ambassadors who can support patients in their countries to find a clinical trial or to explain what is benefit for them, why to even think about clinical trials. So yes, again, the English with this world is easier because um, many informations, just like I mentioned, European Medicinal Agency. Yes, this is all data, all informations there are in English. You can translate some of them, and this is not a problem. But first of all, you need to know where to look and what to look. Yeah.
And what kind of support there is there if you
Yes.
do feel a bit lost?
Yeah,
Excellent.
but I would like to mention that Europe has many supportive organizations for rare disease, for the patients itself, for the companies who are conducting clinical trials. But as I told you, if you are not in the industry, you don't think about it, but it is there. It is there. So it's good to know. And monocytes, and I'm here also.
Excellent. Um, where do you
So
see
it's
this
1 hour.
industry going? What do you see in the future ahead? You've mentioned already that visibility is going up. People are talking about it more. It's becoming global. You have more opportunities with AI and so forth. Where do you think this is heading?
Um, in my opinion, I think that AI will help us to become care option of care. So clinical trials really to become as option of care. And also, I believe that personalized medicine will step in, with this genetics innovation, and we know the genome, but it will come step by step according to regulations, because what is the most important? The benefits and the ethics of all this. So these are, as I said, just an additional part of innovation, of research, but it has to be according to the ethics and the regulation.
And
Excellent.
just before we log off,
Hmm.
go offline, if there are any questions from the crowd, just type in the comments. But once again, here is your website, and also people can contact you on your LinkedIn profile. If from what I understood, if they want to know more about clinical trials, but also that you're training them to start working in clinical trials. So, who are the people who can get more involved in it?
Hmm. Thank you, Darko. Yes, so I'm available on both on monocytes.eu and on my private LinkedIn profile. I will answer your address your questions. I have also education about basic knowledge of clinical trial, about the preparation for clinics, how to become a clinical trial sites, and this is also education for coordinators. Just as I said, I'm focused on basics, and then with this we can come to the sponsor and present your clinic or you can be pushed towards a new career.
Who do you recommend this education to? Who are your most frequent clients?
I would recommend education about basics to private medical clinic owners, doctors, pharmacists, and study nurses.
That covers quite a lot of ground. And
Yes, this is the team. I'm talking about the team. If you have a clinic and you don't have the team, uh, uh, you cannot conduct a clinical trial. Not all medical clinic have teams to become a clinical trial. That's why I say, let's investigate with the basics, what you should update if you want to become a clinical trial site, and that's it. Then things will go smoothly. Or if you are interested and curious about potentially career, yes, I can step in. I can teach you about foundations, and then you can search for it. Yeah. Feel free to reach me on LinkedIn and on my websites, monocytes.eu. And once again, thank you.
Vishna is saying full support for Jasna and her educational programs.
Thank you.
And Rina is saying, thank you so much, Jasna. It was fascinating to gain a better insight into your work and the progress made to better help patients since I was practicing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what I said. Many healthcare providers, just like with this 1 hour talking, they have a new insight for the industry, and they understand better, and maybe they can talk at conference differently. They can approach to sponsor differently. When you know what to ask. That's why I step in and start to talk about it, to become familiar to all healthcare providers. And of course, the benefit is for the patients and our community.
Thank you, Jasna. I've learned a lot in this hour, and I'm sure our listeners have as well, and so will the people who will be watching the recording. It was a real pleasure having you on here. Thank you for saying yes and making these important people in our community more visible and encouraging others to join.
Thank you once again, Edita and Darko, and good luck in all your future works. And I'm open here for any cooperation. I would like to address any question about clinical trials. Feel free to reach out to me. Yeah. All the best, guys.
Thank you so much, Jasna.